One wrong person at your job already knows the worst thing you've ever done, and you greet them every morning. You think you're invisible at your workplace, but someone is quietly collecting the version of you that could end everything. Stay with me, because after this, you'll never feel safe at work again. Lagos was alive, as usual. Honking Danfos, impatient Agbaros shouting, Ojulegba! Ojulegba straight! And Okadas zigzagging like they were in a race with time. But inside Zion Tech Group, a sleek fortress of glass and steel, one of the top rising tech companies in Lekki Phase 1, the noise of the outside world faded behind the polished glass doors and marble floors. The quiet was shattered daily by the arrival of Madame Nneka Okoro. She strode into the building like a queen on a runway. Her heels clacked against the tiles like clockwork, her perfume announced her presence even before she spoke, and her voice, sharp like a knife, could silence a room in seconds. Nneka was beautiful, no doubt. Tall, fair-skinned, with a sharp nose and lips always glossed in wine-red lipstick. But beneath her designer clothes and bold makeup was an ego so large it seemed to take up all the air in the room. She was the senior staff manager in charge of operations, and she acted like the entire building belonged to her. If you greeted her too cheerfully, she would hiss. If you didn't greet her at all, she'd report you to HR. Basically, there was no winning with Nneka. And nobody dared challenge her, not even the male staff. She had that kind of power. But if there was one person who suffered the most from Nneka's daily madness, it was Aya Bimp, the oldest cleaner in the building. Aya Bimp was in her late 60s. Wrinkles kissed her cheeks, her back had a slight bend, and her hands always smelled faintly of Izal and Dettol. Her uniform, a green shirt and matching wrapper, was always clean and neatly tied. She wore bathroom slippers and carried a blue mop bucket like it was her handbag. She spoke gently, moved slowly, and greeted everyone with a warm, "E Caro, my Pekin." Even though she was Yoruba, she loved greeting in Igbo sometimes, to the younger Igbo staff. Many admired her calm nature, but they also wondered why someone her age was still working. Some assumed she had no children. Some believed she was just bored at home. No one knew the truth, and Aya Bimp never said. But Nneka made it her daily hobby to torment the old woman. Every morning, as Aya Bimp mopped the hallway near the executive offices, Nneka would deliberately walk over the freshly cleaned floor with her heels, leaving trail marks. "Are you blind? Can't you clean properly, old woman?" she would bark. Aya Bimp would bow slightly, pressing her palm to her chest. "Sorry, ma. I go clean am again." Nneka would snicker and say loud enough for everyone to hear, "At your age, you're still wiping floors. Even village women are selling tomatoes and managing. Where are your children? Or did you chase them away with your dirty village attitude?" Some staff would look away in shame. Some would exchange awkward glances. But no one spoke up. On one occasion, Nneka entered the office and found a small drop of water near the restroom. She screamed like someone who saw a ghost. "You wretched cleaner! Come and see the mess you left! You want me to fall and die, ABI?" She pulled Aya Bimp by the arm, dragged her to the corner, and shouted, "Even housemaids do better! Old cargo!" Tears welled up in Aya Bimp's eyes, but she wiped them quickly. "I'm so sorry, Ma," she said again, and went back to work like nothing happened. This routine continued for weeks. Every day, Nneka insulted her. But Aya Bimp took it calmly. Even when she cleaned every corner till it sparkled like a mirror, Nneka would find fault. It was like a game to her. One Wednesday morning, as the clouds in Lagos threatened rain, Aya Bimp was in the hallway mopping carefully when Nneka walked in. The moment she saw her, she hissed. "Still mopping at 8 a.m.? You should have finished this nonsense since 7. Lazy old pig." This time, Aya Bimp looked up slowly and said in her gentle voice, "My daughter, I always clean early, but this morning, the plumber delayed me inside the restroom. USF saw him there." Nneka paused, blinking. The woman had never spoken back before. "What did you say?" she asked, voice rising. "I just explain small, ma," Aya Bimp replied. "Explain to who?" Nneka snapped. "Are we mates?" "No, ma." "So why are you talking when I'm talking? Do you want me to teach you a lesson your dead husband didn't?" The hallway went silent. 2 interns standing by the photocopy room froze. One receptionist quickly carried her tray of files and disappeared like a rat. Then, like she had lost her mind, Neka kicked over the blue mop bucket, spilling soapy water all over the floor. "Since you like water so much, bathe in it," she screamed, and before anyone could stop her, she grabbed the bucket and flung the remaining water on Aya Bimp. Gasps echoed down the corridor. But nobody spoke. Nobody helped. Neka stood, chest heaving, arms folded, and proud as ever. Aya Bimp, soaked from the knees down, looked up slowly. Her face was calm, too calm. She picked up her bucket and mop without a word, turned around, and walked away. Neka hissed and clicked her tongue. "Better go home. This place is for workers, not pensioners." For the next 2 days, Aya Bimp didn't show up at work. The cleaners said she had taken sick leave. Some said she went to the village. Others thought she had finally quit. After all, who could stay after being disgraced like that? But Neka was even bolder. She laughed loudly during break times, gossiping with junior staff. "You people should thank me," she said, smiling as she peeled an orange. "Now the hallway is cleaner since that old pig took her legs elsewhere." Some staff smiled awkwardly. Others didn't even respond. In the break room, an IT officer named Cunnell whispered to his colleague, "That old woman day look like someone important. Oh. You know say one day, while a fit burst." His friend replied, "A beg, make we mind our business. You one chop query." The following Monday, a company-wide memo went out. All staff are invited to an important meeting in the conference hall by 12 noon. Attendance is mandatory. Rumors flew. Maybe they're increasing salary. Or they want to lay off people. Hope it's not because of that new branch they opened in Abuja. By 12 noon, everyone was seated in the hall. Even Neka was there, sitting in the front row with her iPhone in hand. Then the CEO walked in. Mr. Akinwale Adekunle, tall, bald-headed, with a soft voice but strong eyes. He wore a gray kaftan and gold-rimmed glasses. "Good afternoon, team," he said, smiling slightly. Everyone chorused, "Good afternoon, sir." But before he spoke, the door opened again, and Aya Bimp walked in. Neatly dressed, but this time not in her cleaner's uniform. She wore a lace iro and buba, her gelly tied boldly, and gold earrings shining under the lights. Her back was straighter than before. Her steps more confident. Gasps filled the room. Neka's eyes widened. The CEO stood and walked to her. "Welcome, Mama." Then he turned to the staff. "Everyone, I present to you the woman who taught me everything I know about hard work, respect, and patience. My beloved mother, Mrs. Bimp Adekunle." The hall went dead silent. Neka's jaw dropped. She blinked like a goat in rainfall. The other staff members stared in disbelief, mouths open, hands covering faces. Whispers rose. Some clapped quietly. Some looked at Neka and shook their heads. "Some of you know her as the quiet cleaner who greets you every morning," Mr. Adekunle began. "Some of you ignored her. Others insulted her." His eyes paused on Neka for just a second. Just long enough for everyone to catch the message. "But I know her as the strongest woman I've ever met. She worked hard to raise me and my sisters after our father passed. She sold Puff Puff in Mushin. She hawked vegetables in Ojota. She trained me in university with the coins she saved from scrubbing rich people's floors." Whispers rippled through the room. Cunnell from IT muttered to his colleague, "So all those insults Neka was giving her, she was pouring it directly on the CEO's head." Oh. Mr. Adekunle continued, "When I started this company 7 years ago, Mama gave me her last savings, Nigerian Naira 280,000, without even asking what it was for. And I promised her, one day, she'd walk into this company as more than a mother. She'd walk in as respected family." His voice tightened, full of emotion. She didn't ask for a title. She asked for humility. She wanted to experience how everyday people are treated. So she chose to work with us. Not because she had to, but because she wanted to understand the kind of culture we've built. Everyone shifted in their seats. The shame in the air was louder than any generator in Ajagunal. Then he turned to his mother. "Mama, please have a seat. I'll take it from here." She sat gently beside the boardroom table. Her eyes met Neka's for a brief moment. There was no anger in them. Just quiet disappointment. Mr. Adekunle placed both palms on the table and scanned the room. But not everyone made her feel welcome, he said quietly. Not everyone saw the human behind the uniform. He turned and looked directly at Nneka. Nneka Okoro, please stand. She slowly rose, her knees visibly trembling. Is there anything you'd like to say to my mother? He asked. The room was still. The kind of stillness you only see in movies, just before lightning strikes. Nneka's voice came out weak. I didn't know she was your mother, sir. I didn't mean to. The CEO raised one finger. Stop. That's the problem. You only respect people when you know who they are. What if she wasn't my mother? What if she was just someone's grandmother trying to earn a living? Nneka swallowed hard. Sir, please. I'm sorry. I'm sure you are, he replied calmly. But this company doesn't tolerate abuse. Not of customers, not of colleagues, and definitely not of cleaners. He took a deep breath. You're fired. Effective immediately. Gasps spread across the room like a virus. Nneka's legs gave way slightly. She grabbed the chair beside her for support. Please, sir. I've worked here for 5 years. I didn't mean. I trusted you with leadership, he said. But leadership isn't about power, it's about character. He gestured to security. Escort her outside. Her belongings will be sent to her home. As she was being led out, some staff avoided her gaze. Others looked at her with open disgust. She had walked into the conference hall like a queen. Now, she was walking out like a shadow of herself. And all the power she had, gone. After Nneka was gone, the CEO turned back to the staff. Some of you watched what happened for weeks and said nothing. You may not have poured the water, but your silence helped it spill. They bowed their heads in shame. Guilt thickened the air. Then Mama Bimp stood slowly. She raised one hand and spoke gently. My children, it's not too late. You can build a culture of kindness here. I'm not angry with any of you, but I hope you've learned something. Her voice wobbled, just a bit. In this life, always remember, every uniform carries a story. Don't wait to see someone's position before giving them respect. The room stood up in applause. Some clapped with tears in their eyes. Others simply stared, humbled to their core. Over the next few days, the office felt different. Staff members who used to ignore the cleaners now greeted them with good morning and cheerful smiles. Even interns offered to help carry mop buckets. Mama Bimp returned to work, not as a cleaner, but as a culture advisor. She now trained staff on humility, emotional intelligence, and company values. She even started hosting short morning talks in the conference room every Friday called Wisdom from Mama's Corner. And as for Nneka, no one saw or heard from her again. Well, almost no one. 2 weeks later, Kunle was scrolling on Twitter during lunch break when he suddenly screamed, "Hey God! Come CO!" Everyone rushed over. He showed them a trending video. It was a CCTV clip from another company. A woman that looked suspiciously like Nneka was caught on camera slapping a receptionist over a parking space issue. The video caption read, "Senior staff slaps receptionist over parking spot. HR manager says she was hired just last week." The comments section was brutal. Someone wrote, "That's the woman that poured water on her CEO's mother. God darn catcham." Another wrote, "Character is like pregnancy. You can't hide it for long." Later that evening, as the CEO sat in his office reviewing reports, his mother walked in with a tray of umla and yudu. "I know say you never chopped since morning," she said, smiling. He grinned. "Mama, you're spoiling me." She set the tray down and looked around. "This your office too cold. You need small rug and plant. Next time I come, I go bring from house." He laughed. "Yes, ma." Then her eyes grew serious. "You think she go learn her lesson?" Mama Bimp asked softly. The CEO looked out the window at the Lagos sunset. People like Nneka don't change until life humbles them. Then he turned to his mother. "But I hope she remembers your face. Because it'll haunt her for a long, long time." Later that week, a strange email landed in the CEO's inbox from NECA. Or should I say, Adekunle Adebayo? You thought you could hide it, didn't you? That nobody would find out. But Lagos is small, and your past always catches up with you. If you don't want your perfect image destroyed, meet me at Alupaju Bridge by 7 p.m. today. Come alone, or I reveal your real identity. Mr. Adekunle leaned back in his chair slowly, his jaw tight. He hadn't heard that name, Adebayo, in nearly 15 years. And the last time he did, someone ended up in a hospital. Back in 2009, Akinwale wasn't a CEO. He was a street-smart hustler selling pirated DVDs under the bridge in Mile 12. He used his other name, Adebayo, because it was easier to blend into the Yoruba-dominated area. Life was hard. He hustled by day and slept inside a Kiki Napep by night. But one mistake changed everything. A young woman had accused him of stealing her phone. There was shouting, a slap, and then chaos. He wasn't the thief. But in Lagos, truth is often weaker than volume. He fled the scene that night, disappeared from Mile 12, and vowed never to use the name Adebayo again. He reinvented himself, rebranded, became Adekunle, and built Ziontech from scratch. But now, someone had dug up the past. And that someone was NECA. By 6:55 p.m., Mr. Adekunle was already at the bridge, dressed in a hoodie, cap pulled low. The sky was dark. Traffic rumbled nearby. Danfo conductors yelled in the distance. Then a figure stepped out from behind a kiosk. It was her, NECA. But this time, no makeup, no high heels. Just jeans, sneakers, and a black t-shirt. Her face was serious, unreadable. You came, she said flatly. You wanted a meeting. I'm here. Talk, he replied. She took a step closer. You fired me in front of the whole company, she said. You disgraced me like I was a thief, thinking I would let it slide just like that. She pulled out a small flash drive from her purse and dangled it. Everything about you, your real name, your past in Mile 12, the case of mistaken theft, it's all here. And what do you want? He asked coldly. She smiled. I walk into that office tomorrow, and you reinstate me back to my full position, with more power, and more respect, and you will make the announcement yourself. Or I leak this flash drive to the press, and you say goodbye to Ziontech, your board position, and all you have painfully built over these years. Mr. Adekunle folded his arms, unimpressed. You're blackmailing me because you were exposed for mistreating my mother? NECA's smile disappeared. I'm not blackmailing you. I'm just balancing power. You humiliated me. I don't forgive things like that. Then she added with venom, don't forget, people love tearing down successful men, especially when it's a woman leading the charge. Mr. Adekunle didn't say a word. He simply nodded, turned around, and walked back into the shadows, his heart pounding with quiet fury. He wouldn't bend to blackmail. But he also knew she was right about one thing. In Nigeria, perception is currency. And one whisper, just one tweet, could ruin years of sweat and hard work. The next morning, he arrived at the office early. Staff greeted him as usual. But in his head, he was already running battle strategies. He had to find out two things: how NECA got access to his past, and whether she was working alone. So, he called Mama Bimp into his office. As she sat down, he told her everything. Well, not everything, but just enough. Her brows furrowed. That girl dey mad oh. Mama, I need your help, he said. She's trying to use my past against me. Mama Bimp nodded slowly. Then maybe, it's time you stop hiding. That evening, Mama Bimp showed up unannounced at NECA's rented apartment in Surulere. Mama, NECA gasped, opening the door. How did you? Can I come in? NECA stepped aside cautiously. Once seated, Mama Bimp looked her in the eye. You think you're the first person who's tried to blackmail my son? NECA said nothing. Mama continued, I used to sell in Oyingbo Market. You think I haven't dealt with thieves, liars, and troublemakers? I'm not scared of you, NECA said, but her voice wobbled. You should be, Mama replied. Because unlike my son, I don't have patience for people who spit where they eat. She stood slowly and adjusted her wrapper. You have one chance, Neka. 1. Return the flash drive and walk away. Or the real story, your story, will come out first. Neka blinked. What do you mean? Mama gave her a knowing look. You think you're the only one with secrets? We know about your little agreement with the board director from last year. About the bribe you took for that staff promotion. Neka's eyes widened in panic. That's right, Mama said, turning to leave. Your hands aren't clean either. Be careful how you throw stones, especially when you live in a glass house. She left. Neka stood frozen, her heart pounding like a drum. For the first time since the drama began, she was scared. Back at Zion Tech, Mr. Adekunle stared at his laptop screen. He had drafted a press release, a CEO's confession, the real story behind my name. He was ready to take control of the narrative. But just before he hit publish, his phone buzzed. The flash drive has been destroyed. I'm leaving Lagos. You finally won. But it's just for now. He stared at the message, then closed his laptop without publishing. Good decision, he muttered to himself. But deep down, he knew she'd be back. And next time, she wouldn't come with threats. She'd come with something worse. 6 months later, on the day Zion Tech was to sign a $1 billion international deal, the highest ever since the company came into existence, a mysterious woman walked into the boardroom. No ID, no appointment. But she looked exactly like Neka, only this time, she went by a different name. Zion Tech's glass headquarters stood taller than ever in Lekki, shining like the pride of Lagos. Billboards all over the city carried one face, Mr. Akinwale Adekunle's face. Headlines praised him, Zion Tech signs $1.2 billion expansion deal with Dubai investors, and CEO Akinwale Adekunle, the future of African tech. Inside the company, staff bustled with joy and celebration. Some popped non-alcoholic champagne. Others danced to Asaki's latest hit in the lunchroom. Everyone wore Zion Tech branded Ankara in celebration. At 12 noon, all senior staff were to report to the boardroom for the final investor signing. The CEO arrived looking sharp in a navy blue agbada. Mama Bimp sat beside him, now a fully respected matriarch of the company. But as they prepared to welcome the Dubai representatives, the elevator dinged. The glass door slid open. A woman stepped in, dressed in a crisp white power suit. Low-cut natural hair, bold red lipstick, clean heels, and a new name tag, Adana Okonkwo. But those who saw her paused in confusion, because Adana Okonkwo looked exactly like the woman they had all tried to forget. The receptionist leaned to her colleague and whispered, "That's Neka." "I swear it is." "No way." Neka had longer hair and, wait, see the eyes. It's her. But the woman smiled gracefully. She walked past the murmuring staff like a queen in her palace and headed straight for the investors' side of the table. "Good afternoon," she said, her voice firm but smooth. "I'm Ms. Adana Okonkwo, Regional Advisor to Zeratech Holdings in Dubai. We're handling this deal on behalf of our Gulf partners." The CEO's heart skipped. For a moment, he couldn't speak. She smiled at him like she had never met him before in her life. Not as Neka. Not as the woman who bullied his mother. Not as the blackmailer from the bridge. Just Adana Okonkwo, an investor representative with full credentials and international power behind her name. After the meeting, which somehow went on smoothly, the CEO quietly asked the investors, "Where did you meet Ms. Adana?" One replied, "She was highly recommended. Worked with a London firm before joining Zeratech." Another added, "She's sharp. We're lucky to have her on board." Later that evening, he confronted her. "Neka, what game are you playing this time?" She chuckled. "I told you. I'm not done. You humiliated me, sir. So I reinvented myself. Got certified. Cleaned up my act. Worked in London for 3 months. Changed my name. And here I am. And this whole Zeratech connection." She shrugged. "Legit. I passed their tests, earned my spot. No blackmail. No tricks. Just ambition. The CEO was not at ease. He knew NECA was hellbent on destroying him, and now she was on the side of the investors. There was going to be a very big problem. The worst part was that he didn't know what plan she had in mind. When Mama Bimp heard the news, she calmly asked for a private meeting with her son and Adana. Inside the CEO's private office, the air was thick with tension. Mama looked at the young woman with sharp but motherly eyes. "You're back," she said quietly. Adana nodded. "Yes, Mama. But not as an enemy. I came back to prove a point." "Which point?" "That I can rise. That even the most broken person can rise if they stop feeling sorry for themselves." Mama leaned forward. "My daughter, your pride nearly destroyed you. And now you return with a new name and fancy suit, but is your heart new too?" Adana paused. "I'm not here to beg," she said. "I'm here to work. If you can accept that, we can move forward." Mama Bimp nodded slowly. "People change. God forgives. So can I." Then she turned to her son. "You can hire her, but don't forget, you must watch her closely." The CEO took days to think. Staff gossiped in whispers. "Is it really her? Maybe she just looks like NECA. But see her handwriting, nah, it's the same." In the end, the CEO made a shocking announcement. "We welcome Ms. Adana Okonkwo as Xeroteca's regional liaison. Zion Tech will operate professionally with all external partners. Let's lead with grace and accountability." Some clapped. Some were confused. But the message was clear. He was giving her a chance. Or, watching closely before pulling the plug. 1 month later, during a crucial strategy meeting, a staff member rushed into the boardroom with panic on his face. "Sir, you need to see this." He handed the CEO a tablet. The screen displayed a trending blog post. Headline: Zionteca's CEO once accused of assault in Mile 12. Real name revealed as Adebayo. The post included a photo of a much younger Akinwale and quotes from witnesses back in 2009. Gasps filled the boardroom. The CEO's blood ran cold. He looked up, his eyes immediately locking onto Adana, who was seated calmly across the table. She slowly raised her head, her face unreadable. "I didn't leak it," she said. The room froze. "Then who did?" the CEO asked with a dangerously low voice. Adana shook her head with a hint of genuine fear in her eyes. "I swear I didn't. I'm telling the truth. I only shared that information with a hacker named Bayo. He is the only one." The room fell silent as the full weight of her words landed. She had revealed her connection to the hacker, but was it a diversion? The staff stared in shock, the CEO's reputation crumbling with every phone call and every blog refresh. Adana had just exposed a secret she claimed not to have leaked. Was this a genuine mistake, or a brilliant, malicious move? The game of cat and mouse had just begun, and the rules had just changed. The sounds of the city, which he had always found soothing, now felt like a loud noise. Akinwale was seated in the back of his car, watching the hectic traffic of Lagos blur past the dark window. On his phone, a faded picture of a younger version of himself, known as Adebayo, looked back at him. A blog post that mixed some truth with many lies had gone viral, tearing apart 15 years of careful self-reinvention in just a few hours. The phone he held shook intensely, buzzing with urgent messages from his board, his investors, and his public relations team. Next to him sat Kemi, his personal assistant, her face showing worry while she tried to stay professional. "We've got a team working on this, sir. We're going to release an official statement," she said, her voice a small comfort in the chaos around them. Akinwale barely listened to her. His thoughts were stuck on the last meeting he had with the board, remembering how calm Adana Okonkwo had been when she suggested he be suspended. But what caught his focus was how she had briefly looked surprised when he confronted her about the hacker. Was this part of her strategy to confuse him, another move in her corporate game? Or had she made a mistake, letting slip something that could be a valuable clue for him? The Zion Tech headquarters stood tall as a sign of achievement, yet that day it felt lifeless. The lively chatter had turned into quiet whispers, as employees exchanged joyful moments for the fear of what was about to happen. Akinwale walked through the halls, every silent stare feeling like a jab against him. In his office, which felt like a peaceful spot amidst the chaos, sat his mother. Mama Bimp was on the couch, enjoying her tea, her calm presence a quiet defense against the turmoil outside. "They're starting to shake things up," she spoke gently, her wise eyes firmly looking into his. Akinwale sank into the chair across from her, the tension in his shoulders feeling heavy. "She's taking risks, Mama." She said she didn't leak the information, but then she brought up a hacker. "I'm convinced it was an error." Mama Bimp nodded slowly, her gaze seeming to look beyond the office walls. "A skilled player will make you think they have no cards to play. You need to find this hacker. If she has used him once, she will certainly do it again." Her advice felt like a lifeline for him. He realized what needed to be done. He didn't see himself as a CEO anymore. He saw himself as someone who needed to fight to survive. He took out his phone, skipping over his lawyers and PR team, and dialed a number he had not called in years. It was Femi's number, a street hustler from his past who understood the hidden corners of Lagos better than anyone else. "I need you to locate a hacker," Akinwale stated, his voice quiet and full of urgency. "I suspect he just ruined my career." Adana was in her clean, tall apartment, holding a glass of wine. On the TV, a news presenter talked about the Zion Tech scandal, pretending to be worried. A small, proud smile appeared on Adana's face. The leak had been clever, a well-timed blow that had shaken Akinwale. Her smile faded. A chill of doubt swept over her. Had the hacker done more than what she asked? No, she told herself. He was just a young guy. He wouldn't do that. He couldn't. A few days later, Akinwale found himself in a local eatery, the familiar aroma of grilled fish and fried plantains sharply different from his own anxiety. Femi, his informant, was across from him, slowly chewing on a piece of fish, moving like someone who had experienced a lot. "I know the hacker you're searching for," Femi said, his voice deep and low. "He's a young guy, but very smart. He works with important politicians, people who want to take down others. However, he has one flaw: he talks too much." Akinwale leaned in closer, the sounds of the busy eatery fading away. "I need you to track him down. I need to find out everything he has done for her." "It's going to cost you," Femi responded, cleaning his hands with a napkin. "He's very skilled at his job." Akinwale didn't hesitate. "I will pay anything necessary." Femi nodded slowly, locking eyes with Akinwale in a rare serious moment. "I will find him. But be cautious. If this hacker is involved as I believe, he has connections. Connections that you don't want to deal with. The kind of connections that care only about money, not about a man's reputation." In the boardroom back at Zion Tech, the atmosphere was thick with tension. The board of directors' faces displayed a combination of worry and subtle opportunism. Adana's face betrayed no sign of expert compassion. The board director stated in a somber tone, "The blog post has caused a major PR crisis. Our stock has fallen by 15% in one day. We need to find out who is at fault." Adana raised her voice, her tone soothing and reassuring. "This is a crucial moment for the company. We must achieve stability. I recommend that Mr. Adekunle be suspended until this issue is resolved. It's the only method to safeguard our investment." A cold rage rose in Akinwale's chest. This was it. This was the true game. She had brought about the crisis, and she was now providing the remedy, a solution that, as it turned out, placed her in charge. With a low, resolute voice, Akinwale stated, "I will not be suspended. This is an attack. My team is investigating the source. The response will be forthcoming." "For the sake of your company, I hope so," Adana said, with a little condescending smile. Adana received the support of the board, which prioritized their concern about a sinking ship above all other considerations. The vote was unanimous. The impact of Akinwale's discovery caused his world to rotate on its axis. The queen who had just seized his king stared back at him with a chilly, triumphant smile. Akinwale did not have a kingdom. The unfamiliar surroundings of the spotless hotel room served as a harsh reminder of his disgrace. He phoned his mother, who was the only one who could save him from the verge of depression. "What did I tell you?" asked Mama Bimp, her tone low but resolute. "Mama," she won. "She first revealed me by using the hacker, then used the scandal to get me out, at least for the time being. My child she lost. She merely captured a pawn. The queen remains on the board. Concentrate. Where is this hacker located? The despondency that had consumed Akinwale gave way to a hard, cold resolve as he took a big breath. Femi's still looking for him. However, I believe she is already in front of me. She probably already relocated him. At that moment, Femi texted him. I discovered him at the Alupaju Bridge. I'm waiting for your signal. In his chest, Akinwale's heart pounded. The same bridge. In the person of Neka, his past had initially caught up with him here. His fate now depended on it. The Alupaju Bridge, a symbol of his history, was now a possible battleground. The bridge was a deserted, silent expanse of concrete beneath the streetlight's soft illumination when Akinwale and Femi arrived at night. Femi motioned towards a solitary figure, a young man with dreadlocks bent over beneath a street light. He's not a bad boy, Femi murmured. Just a hustler. He wants money. Akinwale approached him, his presence casting a long shadow over the young hacker. I want to know who hired you to leak that story, he said. With his eyes filled with terror, the young man looked up. Sir, I don't know what you're talking about. I only accepted the money and performed my duty. What money? The flash drive you got from Neka, where is it? Asked Akinwale in a subdued voice, a low menace in the night. With his bravado falling apart, the young man stuttered. She paid me to destroy the drive, but I copied it first. Before releasing the data, she instructed me to wait for her signal. However, I was able to sell the information to a blog because I saw an opportunity. She will murder me. She is a very wicked woman and will not spare me. Akinwale was perplexed. Adana had been planning the leak all along, but she wanted to maintain control over it so that she would seem innocent. Her scheme had only been hastened by the young man's greed, which had compelled her to act sooner than she had planned. Where is the flash drive now? Akinwale inquired, his tone as sharp as a razor's edge. I sold it to someone, the young man admitted, his voice barely audible. A powerful man. I don't know his name, but I know his face. He is a member of the board of directors at Zion Tech. The guy with glasses and a beard. Akinwale's spirits fell. He was fully aware of who the young man was referring to. The individual who had pushed for his suspension, Mr. Oladil. Adana didn't only use the hacker, she also had an insider on the board. He never could have imagined the game's complexity or risk. The boardroom at Zion Tech was a battleground. Adana, now serving as the interim CEO, sat at the head of the table with an expression of icy assurance. She had prevailed. The election for a permanent CEO was about to commence. She was about to take her reward. After that, Akinwale entered as the door swung open. You are suspended, Mr. Adakunnel. You cannot attend this meeting, the board director stated, his tone laced with irritation. I have a right to be here as a shareholder, Akinwale said, his lips forming a serene, frightening smile. And I have some news to share. I think you know this guy, Mr. Oladil, he said, addressing the bearded board member whose face had turned pale. The one who pushed for my suspension. The person who got my personal information from a hacker. Adana's face went blank, and her meticulously crafted front fell apart. I have proof, Akinwale declared, his voice echoing through the quiet space. There's a video of him purchasing the drive from the hacker. The hacker admitted everything. She didn't want the details revealed yet, but she handed them over to him. He glanced at Adana, his eyes burning with hidden anger. You're clever, I'll give you that. You used the hacker, but you also discovered a flaw in my team. You aimed to push me out so you could take over, and Mr. Oladil wanted me gone so he could grab a larger portion of the business. You two were working together. Adana looked at him, a hint of real fear showing in her eyes. She had been outsmarted. Her complex scheme for revenge, planned for years, had unraveled in just one night. This isn't just a game, it's a plot, Akinwale said, his voice growing stronger with righteous fury. It's a plan to destroy my reputation and take my company. I won't let that happen. The board burst into chaos with accusations flying in all directions. Mr. Oladil stammered, but Akinwale showcased the video, making his success undeniable. The room fell silent. Adana, recognizing her complete loss, stood up from her seat, slipping back into the shadows like a ghost. She grabbed her bag and exited, Her flawless professional image shattered, her plan for revenge reduced to nothing. Akinwale was reinstated, his reputation restored, leaving the board in shock. He sat in his office, the familiar sounds of the city now calming his tense nerves. He had triumphed, but he felt no happiness, just a deep fatigue. Mama Bimp entered with a cup of tea, placing it on his desk. "The goal isn't just to win, my son," she spoke softly, her voice as calming as the steam from the tea. "It's about surviving." "I understand, Mama," he replied, taking a sip of the tea. "I just hope she finally sees the error in her ways." Mama Bimp smiled, a sad understanding in her expression. "Some folks never really get it, my son. They just look for another game. And another opponent." Akinwale sighed, gazing out at the city he had conquered and almost lost. He realized his mother was right. The game never truly ended. It simply changed players. The ghost of Adebayo had disappeared, but the spirit of Nneka, along with the game she thrived on, would always be lurking in the background, waiting. Did this story move or entertain you? Then show some love, like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the Story Cave. More stories like this are waiting for you.